All right, so boys, today we're gonna be going over my own closing framework that allowed me to collect $300,000 in one singular month and about 1.8 M across this last year. I'm gonna be breaking it down step by step, detail for detail on every single thing that allowed me to collect those numbers, okay? So we're gonna dive into my personal closing framework. And just to recap, okay, we go introduction, fact finding, presentation, test close, and then close, okay? So we're gonna be breaking down introduction first, our fact finding next, presentation third, and then closing number 4, okay? So let's start with introduction. And I'm gonna see if I can put my computer somewhere. Let's start with introduction here, okay? So introduction, first thing we wanna do right off the bat is we want to establish a connection. Now, some people are not proponents of small talk and building a connection. I personally am, because I find if I can build a connection, it just gives me so much trust with the prospect on the call. So the first thing I do is I always establish a connection. It could be anything, where they're from, what they like to do, what their hobbies are. And I'm also I bring such a good energy to the call. I'm like, hey Tom, dude, how you doing, bro? Where are you from, right? Bro, I'm from Florida. Dude, I was just down in Naples last summer. I was playing golf down there. What about you, bro? What do you do down in Florida? Bro, I like to, whatever, I go biking. Cool, bro, dude, I did biking one time. I went to Highland up in New Hampshire. Bro, I absolutely fell down and I scraped up my whole arm, but we did it anyway. And if you could build that connection right off the bat, what it's gonna do is it's gonna allow them to trust you a lot more, okay? So right off the bat, I like to establish a connection. Number 2 is I'll introduce myself. Okay, so I'll go here first, introduce myself. So, hey, I'm Wiley Barnett. I've been working alongside the offer owner for X amount of time. We've been doing extremely well. It's been a blessing to be on the team. Just in case you're like, who the hell is this guy? Dude, I'm Wiley Barnett. I just want to introduce myself here real quick. And I want to go over real quick, just so, well, that'll build trust. Real quick, I want to recap some of the information that you went over with XYZ. So if you're a closer, you're gonna understand that you have a setter below you. Remember, it goes setter, closer, okay? So the setter is always gonna find a certain amount of information before the call, right? Typically it's what they do for work, or it's their finances, their goals, their current position, whatever it may be. You're gonna recap some of that information with them on the call so that you guys are on the same page, you guys are in alignment, and if you're able to do that correctly, you're gonna build a lot of trust as well. Okay, so right off the bat, we've established a connection, we've introduced ourselves, and we've recapped the current information that we currently have. Okay, so that's the 3 first things I would do. Now, what we're gonna do to make sure, because this is something I always love to do when I was closing, I don't wanna waste my time. I don't wanna get to the end of this call and then have this guy either not be the decision maker, or he had to go in the middle of the call to go pick up his car or something. I always like to hit this checklist first, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my intention of the call. Now you're gonna find if you do this properly, you're gonna build a lot of trust with them as well. So hey, John, I just wanna lay it all out there. Like my full intention for you is to help you, okay? So if you got questions while I'm breaking this down, or something doesn't make sense, or Wiley, can we go over this, whatever it may be, I want you to know I'm here to help you, and I wanna see you succeed. You're gonna see if you say that properly, you're gonna say thank you, I appreciate it, okay? So you're gonna set your intention of the call, and then you're gonna do something called an upfront commitment. So, upfront commitment. All an upfront commitment is saying, hey, as long as everything makes sense, as long as everything's in alignment, that you're in a position to be able to even move forward. If you like it. I'm not saying you have to move forward on it. I'm saying if everything's perfect, okay? So you're gonna do it in something called an if I could, would you. So I just wanna make sure, John, like, dude, if I can actually show you a way to get in better shape, to become a better version of yourself, you feel like everything that I break down is valuable, and obviously, bro, it's gonna work for you, and it's affordable. If I can actually do all of those things and it makes sense, would you be open to the idea of investing into that? Yes, okay, perfect. So now I have an upfront commitment. I know if I do everything right, he's ready to rock and roll, okay? So you've set your intention, you've done an upfront commitment, you're also gonna time check. So hey Tom, I just wanna make sure you have a good hour set aside to be able to have this conversation. Now, why do we do that? Just so he doesn't leave mid-call and he's gotta say, bro, I gotta go pick up my car. Bro, I hate that shit. I don't want to deal with that. So I'll always do a time check at the start of the call as well. And then I'll make sure they are the decision maker. Okay, so Tom, I just want to make sure, like, are you the one, do you make your own decisions around this, or do you got to run it by a girlfriend, a mom, a cat, a dog, a pig, or are you kind of the decision maker? No, bro, I'm the decision maker. Okay, perfect. So now we know he's the one that makes his own decisions. And then you can open wallet if needed. Okay, this is typically in the B2C realm. B2B, you never really have to open wallet, but in B2C, I like to open wallet to make sure the guy I'm spending time with is actually qualified. Okay, and so the way I'll open wallet, if you guys do want to open wallet at the start of your calls, hey Tom, I just want to make sure, like, I have this question because obviously it takes money to make money, like actually build a business. That being said, just so I know what I'm breaking down actually works within your budget, how much you actually have saved up to be able to invest into yourself and build a business, and or do you build credit? Because that's something you can use as well. Okay, now they're gonna give you their finances. Hey bro, I got a 650 credit score and I got about 2K saved up. Perfect. So I'm gonna break down an offer that's within their price range. Okay, so that's our introduction. Typically, this takes me a good 5-10 minutes, give or take. So introduction, you'll establish a connection, introduce yourself, recap setter information, and then hit your 5-part checklist to make sure that the time you're spending with this prospect is actually worth your time, okay? So now we're gonna dive into fact finding. Let's go into our fact finding process here. Now, what we're gonna be doing within fact finding is we're finding pain, we're finding goals, and we're doing a lot of belief breaking. I'm a big proponent in belief breaking, and we're gonna cover that all in a second, okay? So the way I want you to think of fact finding is fact find like a doctor, okay? So when you go to the doctor's office, do they just shove a medication right in your face? Hey, this is the medication you need for your illness? No. What they do is they ask you a series of questions. Hey, how long have you been sick? Do you have a headache? Are you stuffy? How long has it been going on for? They ask you a series of questions to figure out what medication you actually need. So that's how I want you to picture fact finding and doing your discovery. Hey, what's this guy actually struggling with? What's he running into? Why hasn't it been working? You're fact finding like a doctor. So that's the mindset that I want you to have while you're carrying all of this out, okay? So the first thing I always look for on my sales calls is pain, so I can build a gap, and urgency. And there's 4 levels of pain. So we're gonna use consulting, for example, because I come from a consulting background and a B2C background in general, okay? So situational pain in the consulting realm. Let's say I'm selling an offer around, I don't know, coaching for people that want to get into fitness coaching. It's a big offer that I sold on. So a situational pain would be like, hey, maybe this guy's in a 9-to-5 and he doesn't like his 9-to-5, right? That's very situational pain. That's pain that's coming from a situation, an event in his own life. Hey, I'm working a 9-to-5. I don't like it. I want to get out of it. Cool. That's a level of pain I would call the top of the iceberg, okay? So I want you to imagine an iceberg. Situational pain is at the top. Hey, I work a 9-to-5. But there's a whole level of pain below that we have to uncover as the closer, okay? So situational pain, an emotional pain of that situation would be like, yeah, I'm stressed out. I don't like it. It's been giving me mood swings. That would be a level of emotional pain, okay? So we have situational pain. We have the emotions that's coming from that situational pain. And then we have an identity level of pain. Okay? If you're closing, you have to find one of these pains, either identity or future-based pain. Identity pain would be like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm a good provider, right? Or I don't feel like I'm able to lead my family. That's a level of identity pain, right? It's a very powerful form of pain. So there's identity pain and then there's future-based pain, right? Future is just like, hey, what if this continues to go on, right? What if this level of pain is to continue to go on and who knows, maybe even gets worse in the future? Right? That's future-based pain, okay? So there's 4 levels of pain. Your job as a closer is you have to find one of these 2 pains, identity pain or future-based pain, okay? So I'll find that first. Second thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna search for goals in a desired state, okay? Now it's super important that right here, I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see it on the screen, but it says search for emotional pain over logical pain, okay? So, not pain, sorry. Search for an emotional desired state versus a logical state, okay? So I'm gonna give you an example of that. Let's say I ask someone their goals. Hey dude, what's your goals for this business in general? Dude, I really wanna go out there, I wanna make 10K a month. Bro, if I can make 10K a month, that'd be awesome, okay? 10K a month, okay? That's a very logical goal. Like, let's say it's 10K. No one, I'm gonna give you this background, this perspective. No one cares about 10K specifically. No one cares about 10K in their bank account. They care about what it actually does for them, okay? So that's what we have to figure out as the closer. Why do they want this 10K in a month? Is it so they can leave their job? Is it so they can travel? Is it so they can take care of their family? Why do they want to make 10K in a month? That's what we have to uncover, okay? So the goals. Dude, what's your goal? I wanna make 10K in a month. Okay, cool. So can I just ask you a question? Like, what's behind that 10K in a month? Is it traveling? Or like, dude, what do you want that 10K in a month for? Bro, if I could take care of my family, bro, I'd be able to leave my job. Okay, awesome. And dude, how would that make you feel, bro, being able to live that life? Bro, I'd be able to feel free. I'd feel better as a provider. Okay, perfect, cool. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something very powerful within sales. We're gonna start to build someone's identity, okay? Building identity is basically building the version of themselves within their mind that they want to become, okay? So cool, you wanna make 10K in a month, you want to be able to travel. Dude, I'm curious, like how would that impact your life? Bro, I'd be able to take care of the people I love. Bro, what would they think about you? Bro, they'd think I'm the man, whatever, I'm doing this. What you're gonna do is you're gonna start to ask questions to build their identity. I'm gonna tell you why. This is very powerful. If you can help someone build the identity that they want to become in their minds, what they're gonna start doing is they're subconsciously gonna start taking actions based on that identity that you have just built. Now it's very powerful because the only reason why someone is stuck where they're at is because they have an identity, a limiting identity that they feel tied to and they act accordingly to. Like I'll give you an example. If a kid feels like, bro, like let's use a C+ student. I'm a C+ student and I'm not good at school. What is he gonna do subconsciously? He's gonna take actions that are based on that identity. So he's not really gonna try on his tests, he's not really gonna apply himself, and he has something called a limiting identity because he just doesn't believe he's good at school. He's gonna start taking actions accordingly. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna build someone's identity positively, in a good way. Cool. So yeah, you're making 10K in a month, what would that change? How would you feel about yourself? Who would that impact? What would your family think of you? What they're gonna start to do is they're gonna build a positive identity. Now they're gonna feel a duty to act in accordance with that identity, which is a very powerful concept because if someone can start acting in that identity, they're actually gonna change and they're actually gonna become a better version of themselves. So start asking questions that are gonna build a positive identity for them, okay? And you guys, if you can raise, my first mentor told me this in sales, if you can raise someone's awareness and raise their awareness towards what they can become and who they can be, that's the most helpful thing you can do for anyone. Again, now raising someone's awareness applies to pain, it applies to goals as well. Because if you can raise someone's awareness around pain, hey, what happens if if you continue to accept this? What impact will that have on your life? And they start realizing all of these things, then they know they have to change because you've raised their awareness around it. Write that down. Like everyone should write that down. If you can raise someone's awareness to something, it's the most powerful thing you can do, okay? So we'll go from pain to goals to building their identity. The last thing I do within my discovery process is I do belief breaking. So powerful. Guys, and you guys know my style of selling. I believe in handling the objection and breaking the beliefs in the discovery process so I do not have to handle it in the close. Why? Because in the close, they're put in something called fight or flight. They feel pressure to make a decision. They know the time has come where they have to act and there's a lot of pressure. And if they have an objection, it's covered with this emotional cloud of like pressure. And then you gotta calm them down, you gotta handle the objection. So I like handling the objection, I like breaking beliefs right here, okay? So a couple questions that I'll give you guys that on what I ask is what's been holding you back from actually investing in yourself in the past? What's been holding you back, dude? I'm curious, is it the fear of failing? Is it the lack of trust? Like what is it actually, okay? Now what they're gonna state for you here is a limiting belief that's been holding them back from change. Very powerful. So I've done a couple examples on this, but I'll do an example with you guys right here. So yeah, you know what, dude? I tried online coaching in the past. I worked with a mentor and it didn't work out. Like he just didn't help me out, okay? So now you have found a limiting belief and something that you have to handle. You have to reframe that. If you don't handle it here, it's gonna bite you in the close. okay? So I'll tell you how I would solve and reframe that belief. Number one, I would acknowledge and I would agree with the belief. Dude, 100%, I'll tell you right now, bro, like in my entrepreneurship journey, I've worked with a lot of people and it hasn't always gone good. So I know exactly how you feel. You feel cheated, you feel robbed, you feel like it didn't work, and like, dude, I know exactly how you feel. Okay, so I'll agree and I'll empathize with that belief. Write that down. One, agree and empathize. Number two is I'll ask permission. Hey, Tom, can I offer you a perspective around that? Something that helped me achieve success within my entrepreneurship journey. Are you okay with that? Yes. So I'll ask permission, okay? Psychologically, they have to invite the perspective. So ask permission. Now, step number three is I'll reframe it. I'll give them the new perspective, okay? Can I offer you a perspective around that? Yes. Now, if a girl cheated on you in the past, would you view every single girl moving forward that she was gonna cheat on you? No, that probably wouldn't be a very healthy way of viewing relationships, okay? Business is the exact same way. If someone cheated on you in the past, do you think it would be a healthy perspective to view that every single business opportunity moving forward, that it was going to cheat on you as well? No, right? That probably wouldn't be a very healthy way of doing things. So number one, dude, I get that it burned you in the past, but what my concern, and one thing I want to raise your awareness towards, is I don't want that negative experience to impact positive opportunities and positive experiences moving forward. Is that fair? Yes, bro, you're right. So now I've reframed the belief up front so it's not going to bite me in the clothes, okay? Now, you have to handle pretty much every belief up front in this right here. That was just one example. Some things I look for in my discovery process when I'm belief breaking is if they have any lack of trust, I have to handle that. If they have any fear of failure, I have to handle that. Any fear of themselves, I have to handle that. Limiting beliefs around money, I have to handle that. And then sometimes their own decision-making process, I have to reframe as well. So that's some things that you have to reframe. But that is what I do here. I belief break, okay? And then once I've checked off all of these boxes, I found my pain, I built the identity, I did some belief breaking. I'm gonna go into my transition. This is where I actually price drop, okay? This is very powerful the way I price drop, okay? Because what I see with a lot of people in the B2C space and even B2B, like I love price dropping this way because I almost plant it in their subconscious and they don't get caught up on the money. One thing I want you to realize is the money, it's such a roadblock stopping people from becoming who they want to be, okay? When people hear, like, let's say an investment of 5K, they freak out. It's just a roadblock. Even if their goal was like 50K, they freak out on the 5K. So this is the way I price drop to get around that. The money's just a roadblock. It's a branch in the road. You gotta just move it, okay? So the way I price drop is I'll say, cool, dude, we're taking on 3 more people for the rest of January, February, and March. I just wanna make that clear. Everything I'm gonna break down, it's gonna be 5K. Okay, do you have 5K? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about if you're actually committed, okay? Because if you're committed, you're gonna blow this thing out of the water. But John, I do wanna ask, like, are you committed? Yes. Are you disciplined? Yes, okay? And do you have the willingness to learn? Yes, okay, perfect. So I'm gonna break it down right here, and then I immediately bring up a testimonial, okay? So I'm gonna say, cool, can I tell you a story about Tom here real quick? Bro, he was exactly like you. He was in the exact same spot. He was just like you. And then I have a testimonial ready, and I show him. If you can show people the testimonial and play the video for them versus telling them, showing is a lot more powerful. So have a testimonial ready where you're able to show them success, okay? So transition, that's how I price drop. I'll show my testimonial, and then I'll go into my presentation. It's also baffling to me how many people in the B2C space do not even have a presentation built out. Guys, if you're an offer owner or you're a closer, build a freaking presentation. Whether that be a Canva deck or a Miro board or like a client success journey on a Miro board, build a presentation, something that you can actually pull up and break down step by step with people on your call. Okay, so build that. I don't know why people don't have that, but it baffles me, okay? So we're gonna go into our presentation framework, okay? Now you should have, you're gonna break it down step by step for them. You should have your Canva deck ready, or you should have your Miro board ready. Now I'm not gonna go down specifically how you need to present. I'm gonna go over some guidelines. Presenting is just, really the biggest way I can help you is guidelines, okay? So talk with people, not at people. This is something that I see a lot of people mess up, is when they do their presentations, they're saying, bro, you're gonna get this, and 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 then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do that, and you're just talking so much at people that they're not even listening. So you have to make it engaging. The way I want you to view communication is it's almost like tennis, right? A ball goes over the court, they hit it back. Ball goes over the court, they hit it back. Communication has to be the same way, okay? So I'm asking questions in my presentation. I'm making it engaging. So yeah, dude, we're gonna help you with a diet plan, a routine, and I'm curious, like, Tom, how do you feel like that would help you? Like having that plan, bro, it would be amazing, bro. I feel like that would actually help me a lot to actually have you in my corner. So you're making it conversational. You're asking questions throughout your presentation. So it's engaging and it's almost like tennis, right? So talk with people, not at people, and you're gonna tie deliverables into the pain and the goals that you found up front. So remember up front in our fact finding process, when I went over the 4 levels of pain, I went over goals and identity alignment. You're gonna tie all of your deliverables that you have in your presentation into those specific pain points and into those specific goals or desires, okay? So, hey, this diet plan, you know, it's gonna help you get that 6-pack that I know you wanted, because I know you really want to focus on self-respect for 2026. That diet plan is gonna help you achieve that. So I'm tying all my deliverables into the pain points and into the goals that they gave me in the fact-finding process. Seek duplication number 3. Duplication is simply saying like, hey, this guy's listening, right? So I'm gonna make this super clear. If you're presenting and someone's like on their phone or they're talking to someone, they're clearly being disrespectful and they're not listening to you, I wanna give you permission to call that out. Hey, Tom, I just wanna make sure you're listening, okay? If you do it in a respectful way, they're actually gonna respect you a lot more and they're gonna listen with a lot more intent, okay? So seek duplication. Make sure this person's actually listening or paying attention to everything that you're saying. Holding frame, okay? You're the one asking the questions. You're the one with certainty behind what you're actually presenting. I see a lot of people on their presentations where the prospect starts asking them a lot of questions. Hey, what about this? And what about that? And what if this goes wrong? If they're asking you so many questions, what you have done now is you have given them frame. And when you give someone frame, you don't have influence. So make sure you're the one asking the questions and you're the one holding the frame. If they ask you a question, cool, answer it, but ask them a question right back so you maintain frame. Very important, okay? It's super important that you maintain frame. Keep engaging, conversational. I mean, pretty easy. We went over that. Duplication, talking with people, not at people. Maintaining frequency and energy. Don't be a boring presenter. I see a lot of people that will just, dude, they just lose it. They're just breaking things down. Make sure you maintain energy. This is how it's gonna help you here. It's gonna help you there. You're maintaining the energy. You're maintaining the frequency during your presentation. And then one of the biggest rules that my first mentor told me was certainty creates certainty. And I feel like I've said that a million times. If you've been watching me for a little bit, I probably sound like a broken record, but speak with certainty on your presentation, okay? If you're able to speak with certainty, hey, this is how it's specifically gonna help you, people are gonna believe you a lot more. People follow certainty and they follow conviction, okay? So learn how to speak with it. Cool, now that's our presentation. And then we're gonna go into closing, okay? So let's go into closing here real quick. I have a very abundant close, okay? I'm a very abundant closer. You'll see if you watch some of my live calls, my close is literally just cool, awesome, and Tom, it's totally up to you whether you want to move forward on it or not. Obviously, I'd love to have you on the team, but it's totally up to you whether you want to move forward on it or not. Most of the time, and I would say 80% of the time, if I've done my introduction properly, I've done my fact finding properly, I solved all the beliefs in the discovery, I went into my presentation, I tied into everything into their pain points and their goals, and I spoke with certainty, it's almost 80% of the time I lay down. They're pretty much ready to go because I've handled all the objections up front, okay? However, if you do get objections, usually, and they're gonna be logistical in general, like, hey, you know, is there a payment plan? How does this work? They're usually like logistical question. All logistical question is like, how do you explain logistics? Like it's not an actual objection where they don't trust you or something like that. They just wanna know like how something will work, okay? So usually you'll handle logistical questions. Once that's done, most of the time there's a little bit of fear, a little bit of discomfort behind actually making that investment, which there's a couple pre-frames you can go over. One thing I like to use is, hey, the life you're currently living right now, in some way, shape, or form, is like, it's very uncomfortable. Like you told me in the discovery process that we went over. Like you told me before, you know, you're sick of your 9 to 5, you don't like it, you're looking for ways to get out of it. That's a very uncomfortable life, especially if you're gonna continue to live that way. Now on the flip side, yes, you know, paying me a couple $1,000, the discomfort behind that, actually committing to change, the pain behind change, that's also very uncomfortable. But between those two discomforts, which one do you actually feel like is gonna get you closer to your own goals? Is it A or is it B? While you're right, it's B. Let's do it, okay? So usually there's a little bit of discomfort there, so you can use that pre-frame if you need it. And then if you do have to handle smoke screens, it's a freaking pain in the ass, but if you do have to handle smoke screens, we can go over a little bit of them. I'm not gonna go over this crazy in depth, but smoke screens, like, hey, I gotta pray about it. Cool, 100% I'll agree with it. Dude, I want you to pray about it. Like, by all means, I'm a religious man myself. I got baptized in 4th grade. I want you to pray about it. Can I offer your perspective around that? Yes, okay? And I'll usually tell them a story. So cool, I'll tell you the story right here. Let's say, Tom, you were on the top of a building and there was a flood rising, okay? There was this flood rising and a boat came along and they said, Tom, get in the boat. You gotta get in the boat. The flood's rising, you're gonna die. Tom says, nah, bro, God's got me. God's got me. Okay, water continues to rise. Water's still rising. Another boat comes in. Guy's at like chest level. Tom, you're at chest level now. Get in the boat, bro. You gotta get in the boat. The water's rising, you're gonna die. He says, no, bro, God's got me. God's got me. Now this guy's swimming. Tom's swimming. A helicopter comes in. Tom, you gotta get in the boat. You're gonna die. He says, nah, bro, God's got me. God's got me, okay? Tom ends up dying. He ends up going to heaven and says, God, why did you not save me? God said, I sent you 2 boats and I sent you a helicopter, okay? Now, dude, by all means, pray on it, right? But I imagine you've been going through this pain and this discomfort for a little while now, right? And it's time to actually find a solution, whether it be with me or without me. Like, dude, you don't even need me. By all means, just go get help somewhere else, right? But go get some form of help. You know what? Wiley, you're right. You know, like, I do gotta take action. Boom, so we've solved it, okay? Very rare if you've gone up and you've solved the limiting beliefs and you've handled the objections in your discovery process, but you'll handle smoke screens, agree, acknowledge, ask permission, offer new belief. Again, you'll notice this is what we were doing in the discovery process, but now you're doing it in the close, which is, again, I've made a video on this, but the reason why it's so much easier to handle objections in the discovery process versus the close is because in the discovery process, they're not put in this form of fight or flight. In the close, it's time to make a decision. It's time to take action, right? It's time to pay you money. And people don't like paying money. It's uncomfortable. It's not an easy thing to do. So they're put in something called fight or flight. So now if you're handling the objection in the close, you have to calm their nervous system down and then handle the objection. Versus in the discovery process, you don't have to worry about any of that and you can almost reframe and handle everything subconsciously, okay? So that's why we do that. So that's my entire sales framework. Now guys, I'm gonna go over this briefly. It's not just me that have had results with this. Obviously, I'll go over my results with this. $300,000 cash collected in one singular month. Allowed me to travel. We were in Dubai here, allowed me to take care of my family, my brother, most important dude to me, traveled to Miami, Costa Rica, bought my dream watch, Dubai, whatever it may be. $300,000 cash collected in one singular month. 1.6 M-ish in cash collected this last year in 2025. And we can go over real quick what it's done for others as well. So Jacoby, it took Jacoby from making 7 to 8K a month to literally an 8K PIF 1 week in. So that's my boy Jacoby. This is him gassing me up right here on the text messages. Thanks for all the help, bro. I know I didn't reach out too much, but you gave me too much sauce. I just got an 8K PIF. Phenomenal. Bro, you're the GOAT. This is extremely helpful, especially the pullback in wrist frame, ethical business line. Totally forgot. I need to make this bread. This has been beyond helpful. So that's Jacoby right there. Cameron as well. Went from starting out to making 30K in commissions as a closer. And then we got countless other wins. But guys, this framework hasn't just helped me. It's helped countless of our other guys. So just to recap again, I'm gonna pull this up again here, right here. We went over introduction, fact finding, presentation, and then close, okay? Guys, if you implement this, you're gonna be extremely dangerous, okay? You're gonna be a very good closer. Now, we went over a lot. My Instagram is WileyBarnett_. If you ever have questions, feel free to reach out to me. But I hope this helped you guys out. I promise you, if you're to take notes on each and every single section, your introduction, your fact finding, your presentation, and your close, and you implement at least 2 to 3 things from each section, your next sales call is gonna go a lot smoother. It's gonna help you out a ton. So guys, I hope this helped. We'll end it at there and go crush it. Peace out.